Hey guys, welcome back to Puck Talk. So today we will be discussing Minnesota Wild and how their team is doing. So let's get right into it. So any opening thoughts from you guys?
Yeah, so we'll discuss the regular categories like usual. We'll discuss the best player on the team, their status, where we think they will finish by the end of the season and the deadline trade, and panic level amongst the fan base for the Wild.
Sure, let's get into it.
So let's just look at the stats first, right? And Marc-Andre Fleury has turned it around. I'm impressed.
My man Dak been talking bad about Marc-Andre Fleury the beginning of the season and beforehand. So I'm glad that he turned it around.
Yeah, he had terrible numbers to start the season off, and I'm surprised he's over 900 now, which is good.
That means that he has had some of the same performances because he had a below 80 save percentage at one point.
Yeah, I mean, their goaltending's solid. I don't think there's much else to say at the
I
moment.
think their goaltending is solid because their defense is quite good. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but I don't think Marc-Andre Fleury is an amazing goaltender anymore. I mean, even in his prime, I think he's one of the luckier goaltenders. He's got an amazing career, but I don't think he's ever been number one guy in the league. But yeah, I mean, the Minnesota Wild started off really struggling, and they've turned it around for now. They're third in their division. So yeah, they're doing pretty well. Like especially considering they had no cap space this offseason because of their buyouts.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, I'm like just a word. I'm impressed that they are 14th in the league with 12.7 million in dead cap space. You do that to most teams, they'll crumple and fall rapidly down the standings. It's impressive that they're still in the playoff spot right now.
It's weird to think about that they had such a bad start that they were comparable to Canucks at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, but they're a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Canucks are
I think the loss of Fiala is hurting them quite a bit. Like
yeah.
Fiala, like he solidified himself this year as like a true top line winger. And yeah, like their cap space just could not allow them to keep him
Yeah. That's the price you pay, The 12
yeah,
million. If you had that, you could have kept them.
easily. Yeah,
It's
like
crazy. And so let's just go to the player stats now. Kaprizov is leading the team. What a surprise.
yeah, what a surprise, eh?
I love watching this guy play. He's so good.
He's a really dynamic skater. Like
Yeah.
he's got all the tools and he's showing why he's like one of the best players in the league, like one of the top premier like wingers. And did you guys know that he was actually drafted by Boston's pick in 2015?
What?
Yeah, so Boston actually traded this pick to Minnesota in the 2015 draft. So that draft was a huge miss for Boston as well. So
That's
yeah.
fine. Boston's still a top team in the league.
There
Yeah,
was
I
a
think
draft
they're
where they
okay.
messed the three picks
They're
up too,
they're
right?
they're fine. They're
Yeah.
fine.
So yeah, but yeah, like he was originally a Boston draft pick. I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, he's really good.
So if they didn't mess up that draft, they could have been a super team.
I mean, they're a super team
They're
right
still a
now. So
super team.
Yeah, but
They still
imagine
have
with all these
Marchand.
assets. You're crazy.
I mean,
All these guys on ELCs.
they're good enough. I don't think they're worrying. They
Yeah.
they got their comeuppance.
Yeah, that's true. So one thing I'd like to highlight is Bodie's doing pretty good. I think that's important after Fiala left. They needed somebody to step up. And I think he hasn't stepped up to fill the hole completely, but he
Yeah,
stepped
he's
up
still
enough
young.
to make the loss more bearable.
Yeah, he was signed to like a $7 million deal,
Yeah.
and right now, well, it's not like an immediate, it's a future deal. It's future money savings deal, but he's stepping up into that secondary scoring quite well. And yeah, their team is looking fine offensively. Like they've
Yeah.
got the scorers, they've got the points guys. Like Zuccarello is good secondary scoring. Erickson Ek is also good. So they're okay.
Yeah. And so we usually discuss best player of the season, but I don't think there's much of a discussion for the
Yeah.
Wild. Oh
Yep,
yeah.
It
it is real.
Yeah.
It is
So
Kaprizov. He's popping off the season once again. 39 points. 11 plus more than the second best, the second next player.
yeah,
yeah.
and he drives their offense. He drives everything. It runs through him.
Just like a side note, like a surprising player for me this year has been Philip Gustafsson. Like he is a 9.22 with almost 20 games played. While
Ooh.
Kaprizov's been their best player, I think he's been their most improved player because he was actually traded for Cam Talbot, and Cam Talbot has struggled in Ottawa, while he's been pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. So now let's move on to the status of the Wild. So
Mm,
what do we think? I think they're I think with the dead cap, they're not going full contender mode. I think they're aiming for first or second round exits at the moment.
I mean, uh, I think they'll be a contender. They get into playoffs and Fleury plays well. They could easily go to the conference finals because right now they're slated to play Winnipeg. Well, that's a pretty hard matchup. If they try, I think they could do pretty well. But Winnipeg is a clear favorites. They have a juggernaut team right now.
So status would okay, so they're not cup contenders. I was right, contender then
Yeah.
for status.
Yeah.
And then where do we think they'll finish? This is more about the second round or the conference final kind of thing. Where do you see them going? I don't see them
Right
getting.
now they're playing Jets. I think it's Jets. Jets would beat them. I think they're
Yeah,
done in the first round in 6 games.
yeah, that's 100% accurate. Honestly, I
Yeah, I don't think. And even if they do get it by the Jets, then you have to worse the Avs, Vegas.
no, no.
Like you're
But
not
I think Dallas takes out the Avs honestly
Dallas.
this
Right,
year
this season so far, it's been looking like Dallas does do that though.
because like Ottinger steps up, and I don't know how strong Georgiev will be in the playoffs. He's
Yeah,
never played in the he's never had a starting role in the playoffs.
but
So
Avs won with Kemper last year, and Kemper wasn't good at all.
I mean, but Kemper still had like those pretty good years. Those
Yeah,
and Avs right now like they had secondary scoring like Kadri last year too.
Those
This
those
year,
those Avs that Avs playoff team was just insane.
yeah,
It was just such a
they
good
they
team.
they wanted to win and they did it, but like I think Avs have kind of like I think Dallas could beat them in a 7 game series.
Mhm.
okay, but for yeah, the I guess that makes sense. So
If
like,
we're
do you
talking
think Vaughan
about
could beat Dallas
where
then?
Minnesota will finish, though, it's definitely a first round exit. I don't see
Okay,
them in a world where they can truly beat out a Jets team.
yeah,
And if they do, like they're not getting past the second round matchup anyways. Like last
Yeah,
year they had a better team and they lost to St. Louis. This year they're
exactly.
even
And St.
worse.
Louis is now struggling.
St.
yeah.
Louis is they're not even worth talking about right now because
Yeah.
they're just so meh.
And then for them a deadline trade that they could make. I think
I think it's a quiet deadline for them.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, they don't really have much options to go for and to grab with
I
the pieces
mean
No.
that they have to give away.
I think in general this deadline will be pretty quiet because nobody has cap space.
Hmm.
that's true. But I think especially for them because they have no idea. Like
Yeah,
you can't go in and you can't sell too because you're in a playoff spot.
yeah,
Makes no sense.
exactly.
Hopefully you go on a run.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty
It has to
tough.
be
But
like one of the greatest runs we'll ever see. But like,
Just cross your fingers and hope anything can happen in the playoffs.
they need like a 2019 St. Louis run at this point.
you beat the Jets, you beat Colorado or Dallas somehow. Then you
Or
beat most likely Vegas.
yeah,
Then you're most
Vegas,
likely
maybe
either
even Seattle.
yeah, Vegas or Seattle. Yeah, exactly. And then you have to face off against most likely Boston.
Yeah, so
Good
it's
luck with
Yeah,
that.
you're just gonna pray that you somehow get to that spot.
yeah. I don't think that's very plausible. So let's just disregard that right away.
Yeah. And then the panic level. I don't think there's much panic for the fan base.
It like you like I would be a little bit scared of like what direction the team would go in. Cause like your team is good enough to make it to the playoffs, but they're not good to get past the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now though, like with everything, I think they're just happy. Like fans would just be happy with playoff appearances.
They should be actually no, they would be happy with the fact that they turned the season around, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're in a playoff spot. They're quite comfortable, like not comfortably, but they're 3 points, 4 points up right now of Nashville, but they're still in a playoff spot. So while they could lose it if they've held on to it, and I think the fans would be happy at that point.
I think fans, yeah, that's true. They're happy with consistently making the playoffs,
Yeah,
It was first
Fair.
round exits.
Fair.
because Nashville has the same amount of games played. They're only 4 points behind, 2 wins behind, and if Minnesota like chokes right now, then of course they're gonna fall out, which is not ideal.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Minnesota's a very mid team. That's all I
Yeah,
can describe them as at the moment.
definitely one of the teams of all time.
Yeah,
All right. Well, with that being said, anything else we can talk about, or are we gonna leave it off there?
I think we're good for a while.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Well then, thank you guys for watching Pug Talk. I hope to see you all in the next episode. See ya.
All right, see you guys.